what's up? I'm Amin Dhillon, and welcome to my podcast. I'm sitting down with the movers and shakers and the stars to chat about life, love, business, and being a total boss. It's raw, it's candid, it's the stories behind the headlines. This is In Conversation. Jonita Gandhi. Hey, girl.
Hi, everybody out there.
What about
Hi,
to
Doug.
me? Are you going to say hi?
Oh,
Thank
hi,
you.
Amin.
Thank you. But reunited. And by the way, I just want to say this was really tough because every time you come into town, I know you're busy.
Don't make me look
You
bad.
come in for like 3 days, even though I'm like, I think we deserve a week. And today you're
Yeah.
flying out, but you
I
made
am
it
flying
happen.
out today. You know what? I wasn't going to do this, remember? My flight got changed, and that's why I was able to.
Because I prayed. I prayed to the airplane gods. I
Your
was like, can you
prayers
just make
worked.
her flight get canceled?
The airplane god? Is that what you
Yes,
said?
yeah. So every
I
time you
feel
get on a
so
plane,
special.
you like do a little shout out to the airplane gods, being like, "Hey, I really want to get there in one piece, so please
Is
make
this
this
the
flight
same
okay."
god that people pray to, like when they're taking off, and they're like, let's not crash?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh.
typically you do that. This one, I was like, I don't want anyone to crash. I just don't want the plane to go anywhere, and for her to know before she gets to the gate. Because the worst is if you got to the gate and you're like, I could have done the podcast, but like I'm at the gate.
stuck at the airport.
So I'd be like, can I purchase a ticket to get to the gate? That's going to be a very expensive podcast.
should I change my flight to, should I fly to your house? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could have done that. But luckily, we did not have to involve the airplanes or the airlines because I think that would have cost me a lot of money. But I'm so glad we're reunited. And I want to make sure people know that I feel really lucky that I've been part of your career from the beginning. Like before you were like,
right after I left, I think one of my first interviews was with you.
I think my first interview with you was when you were performing with your dad's band for like a Valentine's Day show. You weren't even like, I think,
Oh, and then there
discovered.
was the roast theater thing too.
yes.
That was before
But
I went to India.
I
Or
think
right
you had
after.
Chennai Express for that.
Oh yeah, I did. No, I did. I even had Kahahume because I.
Yeah, it's cool because before you even had any like Bollywood
It's been
songs,
years.
you were doing covers with your dad's band. I have this relationship with you where, you know, I feel really comfortable with you and I do consider you one of my girls. And then it's nice to be like, oh, my girl like got another film, even though you get so many films and yes, hearts.
I get films. Like they make me sound so cool right now.
But I mean, before it was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Now it's like my expectations are higher for you. Like I'm like,
That's a lot
if
of
there's a big
pressure.
tour, if there's a big song, you're gonna be on it and you're gonna win the award for
So
it.
once this show is like, once you're basically, you have interviewed everybody from the industry,
Yeah.
which is going to happen, you can say this to them so that they make sure that I'm on them. Their
I'm
films,
gonna
like all the
basically say they have
directors and
to
them.
compare with you.
Yeah, be like,
Yeah.
I'm the golden standard.
Yes.
And your film's not going to do well unless you have Jonita involved somehow.
Yeah. And then I think you should get into acting. Do you think that's a possibility?
Sure.
I interviewed Arjun and he was talking about that video, the love song
Oh
you
my
guys
goodness!
did.
Did he tell you the story?
Well, he told me several stories. I don't know if there's a different story, but what story are you talking about?
There's only one. There's only one for me.
Is it that you were sick?
Yeah. Did he tell you details?
Okay, how about you tell me your version? So
Yeah. Then you should do like a little play by play. We should like compare side by side rather my
Okay.
story and his.
okay, so tell me your story.
My story. I mean, it's okay. My story is that I had food poisoning,
Mhm.
and I think it happened on the flight.
The burrito you had, yeah.
Probably, I don't know.
The street
what
meat
heck
that you
it
picked
was.
up?
No,
Mhm.
it was the flight food. That's what I'm saying.
Sure.
And then I landed in that. Anyways, and then the day after I landed, it was the shoot.
Yeah.
And initially, I didn't realize what was wrong. I thought I was just really nervous for the shoot because this is actually one of my first experiences doing a full blown out production, like video where I have to like act, we have to play characters, and there's like multiple sets and
you have to look at Arjun and look like you're so in love. Yeah, I know. It's really tough. Really tough.
It's really tough because he's so not lovable. Like, do you know the guy? Have you guys seen it?
I mean, he's so hard to look at too, you know.
I know. He's like, yeah, it's really, really, really difficult to like. I remember the first thing I thought was, okay, this is just nerves. Like, my stomach feels weird. It's just nerves. It's just nerves. So I get to the set. I'm getting my makeup done. I'm changing for my first outfit. And now the director has pulled us together and he's like, since you guys have to act like a couple, let's do some exercises so that you can warm up to each other. And I was like, as if it wasn't awkward enough.
Yeah.
Like, this is even more awkward. Like, sometimes when you're just like thrown into it, it's easier. Especially when you're working with somebody you don't know, it's actually the best. I feel like people might assume the opposite. That you like, if you're comfortable with the person, so like it's easier. But I feel, and I think Arjun agrees, when you have to play a couple, sometimes it depends on what you have to do. But like, I feel like it's easier to be more shameless and just like go for it. Yeah, if you don't know them,
because you're like,
yeah, because even if they judge you, it's like, I'm not gonna see you again. I mean,
well, technically you will, because
maybe. I mean,
you're both in the same industry
and in the same video when you watch the video. But like, we were kind of like friends already, and it was just like awkward to be like having to act like a couple with like a friend. So we started doing these like exercises. Actually, I don't think we ended up having time for them because we were running behind schedules. We kind of just like jumped into the first shot. And I was like, guys, like, I'm not feeling well. And like initially I thought it was nerves, but I think there might be something wrong. And then like everyone was like, okay, well, like, what can we get you? And like they gave me some ginger ale. I got some like anti-nausea pill, and then like literally 10 minutes later, I'm like, guys, I'll be right back. I run to the bathroom. I throw up. I come back. I don't think I told anybody the first one. I was like, oh, I'm good. Because you know how like you feel like euphoric after you throw up? Compared to how you felt before?
But you also feel gross, right?
You feel gross, but you also feel so much better. Like, you know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, I can do this now. I don't need to tell anybody. It's fine.
No one will smell my breath.
Nobody will. No. I probably popped him in. I don't know. I really hope I did for Arjun's sake. But we didn't have to do anything. Like, we weren't even that close. It's fine. It's fine, guys. This is our job.
Yeah.
We sat together. We were doing some shot where we had to like look into the distance and smile and laugh and all that stuff. So everything's going well. Then later I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to throw up again. And now there's like nothing to throw up because I haven't even eaten that day.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't feeling well since I woke up.
Yeah.
So I'm like in the bathroom thinking what's going on, and then I finally told someone, and then I realized I had to throw up like every half an hour. It was like a really bad case of food poisoning, and I had no energy for that entire day. We had to keep like plastic bags on standby just in case.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing is like every shot that we had together, he's like, just don't throw up on me, yeah? Just don't throw up on me, yeah?
You didn't throw up on him, and luckily you didn't have like a kissing scene or anything, so it's not like you had to like get right up in there.
Right.
So it's okay because everyone watches the video, and it just seems like you guys are just two lovers that are trying to be together.
Yeah. The mic he had didn't have a cord, and I was so annoyed.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay.
Okay, good. Oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. Now everyone's gonna go watch it and notice.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like,
you're like, how is he able to sing if he doesn't have a cord?
This doesn't add up. My fans will know.
No, they won't.
Yeah, please. No, I really believed in them, and I thought they would. And I was like, guys, please get a cord. Otherwise, I will not hold the mic.
Did you have a cord for yours? Okay, I have to rewatch the music video now, and I hope everybody like kind of screenshots.
Revealing too much already. What are you doing, Amin?
Oh yeah, this is gonna really change people's lives. They're gonna never look at that video again properly.
Well, you saw that video and thought I could act?
Yeah.
I'm so happy to hear that.
If somebody like maybe in a few years offered you something.
Here's the thing. So another fun fact. Before I took training in music, I did this like showbiz kids camp.
Perfect.
Which is like a...
I'm gonna ask your dad for the video.
Yeah. If there's a video, oh my God. Again, I hope nobody ever sees them. But it was like this summer camp where it's like for theater, kind of. Well, it was more like they covered acting and singing and dancing.
Okay.
Because my parents thought I was like really talented, and they're like, you should work on your skills. Yeah. And I did like monologues. I did like a lot of acting exercises and workshops, and and I loved it, to be honest. But then I just forgot about it. But I feel like acting is part of my life already. Like, even though I don't act for like films or shows, I think a big part of a performer is like acting already. So like, why not? If it came up, one day to answer your question.
I hope so.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be amazing to see you like on a poster of a movie.
With and
like it'd be like Lady Gaga, you know, where she's a singer, but then she's the actress and she's playing the role of a singer. So that could be you.
If it was something like that, where like it makes sense for me to do that role because of my personal like journey or experiences, and obviously I'd have to work really hard, but I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah, because I'm sure now in Mumbai you have like a staff, right, that like take care of you, or are you totally on your own?
At home I'm on my own. I mean, I have a maid who comes every day.
What about cook? Who makes your meals?
She cooks.
Oh, she does both. Okay,
yeah,
that's
but
nice.
she doesn't have to because I'm never there.
But if you, let's say, came home, because you're going to Mumbai after this, right? So the first night you're home, you're starving because you're avoiding airplane food. It does not sit,
I
sit
order
well
in,
with you.
I order in, or I'll like whatever. Yeah, I make.
What do you
something at
order
home.
in? Do you have like some cute
oh my
places
god,
there?
Zomato is my best friend.
And what do you normally order?
You can get anything there. So like I don't always order the same thing. I'll get like dal and roti and like I'll get my Indian stuff. But I also get like Subway, like literally Subway.
Okay,
subs
I've never
and
tried Subway
salads.
there, so
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty
good.
cool. And they have like Indian versions of like they have like the chicken tikka sub and stuff.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay, so it's like
doesn't that sound
McDonald's.
good?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But okay, so when you're
Yeah.
home, you've got a maid who can occasionally cook for you. What about getting around? Do you have a driver, or are you driving?
I don't have a car, which I need to get though. I just Uber it and rickshaw it.
Oh, you're on the rickshaw still? Love it. Do
Yeah.
people recognize you?
Sometimes not. No. It's pretty chill. People are like, "Oh, like, do you get stopped?" I can go in the market. I can shop. Like
Okay.
sometimes, like on occasion, somebody will come up to you and be like, "Oh, like I'm a fan. Can I take a photo?" And then it's done.
Yeah. Is it usually the
Sweet.
rickshaw driver?
Yeah, rickshaw drivers have no idea who I am.
Okay. But wouldn't it be funny if you were like in the back of a rickshaw or one of those three-wheelers and your song was playing and then the
That
guy's
happens all
like
the
singing
time.
along to it, has
In
no idea
Ubers,
it's you?
all the time that happens to me.
And do they go like, I really like that female singer? And you're like, yeah, but I heard
No.
she's really difficult.
But like, see, I don't know. I guess I don't make so much conversation with my Uber drivers. I should though. If I'm with somebody, like a friend or like whoever, if I'm with somebody and then a song of mine comes on, that person generally will go out of their way to embarrass me and say something.
Of course.
Right? But otherwise, if I'm alone, like sometimes I'll like send a little voice note to like my mom or like my friend and be like, haha, my song's playing.
Oh, that must be cool. So what is life like then? So hold on. When you first went to Mumbai, how many years ago was that?
6.
So 6 years ago you moved. Wow, that's a really long time.
That is a really long
A
time.
really long time.
I can't believe it's been 6 years.
Yeah. So when you first moved there though, what was life like? I just want to compare the difference because I feel like as a Canadian going to India, and I don't know now if you were going there like constantly or if you had family, but it's like culture shock every single time for me when I go back and I
It
try to
is.
adapt.
Yeah, it is culture shock. When I go back and forth,
Yeah.
there's always like an initial culture
Shock.
shock that I have to get over. Like right now, I'm going tonight. I'm going to Chennai. When I land, I'm just gonna be like overwhelmed for a minute.
Overwhelmed by what exactly?
The noise,
Mhm.
the traffic, the language, people, like etiquette. There's just population. There's just so many people everywhere.
But two very different places to live in.
Oh my god, like polar opposite. I would say almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, no, because again, Brampton has so many brown people.
I do though miss the guy that would just yell in the morning that he's got fruits and veggies on his like little trolley that he brings
dude,
around.
Those guys are talented.
But it's still convenient because you're like, oh, I don't even have to go to the grocery store. You just have fresh produce right there.
Right
It's like
there.
the ice cream truck, but for like veggies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're able to like manipulate their voice. Like they're not even necessarily that loud, but they're freak. Like it's it's gonna sound bad, but their voice is so annoying
Yeah.
that it pierces through all the noise.
Yeah. Basically, there's no
Sounds.
bylaws, I don't think, for noises there because I know
No.
I've woken up several times.
Exactly.
Now you just need like 3 hours.
You don't need more than that. Whoever told you that you need more?
I actually
the
do,
doctors
but-
are all wrong.
I guess, if you say so. I would always be very
Sometimes
grumpy.
I wonder if I need to say I'm joking. Sorry, this is a problem I have.
No,
also.
you
This is a
don't.
whole other thing.
No, you're
For your
sarcastic
show,
like
I
me.
don't. I know, but like in India,
Which gets us into trouble in India.
this is what I'm saying. This is another thing you have to like adjust to. Again, like spending a lot of time here and then going back. I have to like recheck my humor sometimes. The kind of company that I keep though, they all get it. It's cool. But for interview scenarios or like public things or people who I've just met, sometimes I wonder if I'm coming across the way I intend to come across, and like it's kind of stressful.
Is that how do you think affected you when you first moved there? Like, were you guarded and you're worried about offending anyone?
But I think I was in general also. I think I've, over the last few years, allowed myself to be me more.
Good.
In general, not just in India, like in general. Because like living on your own and stuff, I feel like your perspective, like everything changes, and like I feel your interactions with people, like I just feel like I've become a different person over the past like 6 years. Yeah.
Well, I do feel like you become more comfortable in interviews. Like I've watched some of your stuff with other outlets.
But I think that applies to me outside of interviews as well. Like I just feel I'm allowing myself to just be me more.
Yeah, that's natural.
Yeah.
Because now you also have made your name enough that you know people know you. So it's not like you have to be like, oh no, like.
But that also, I mean, there's always two ways to see it. Like that also puts more pressure on me, right? Because now it's like more people are noticing what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to be careful too, right?
Of course, but it gives you a platform.
Yeah.
I always think like the greatest thing about being a celebrity is the platform. So if you are passionate about something, you can say it and actually have a lot of ears ready to listen.
For sure. I mean, it's a great place to, like, if you want to, not just for music, basically. Mm-hmm. It's like stand up for something you believe in. Mm-hmm. It's a great platform.
Yeah. Always, I mean, you have already like, what, 500,000 followers?
I don't know.
You have a lot. That's why it was like so cool, because I was like, wow, like look at all these people that are not just listening to your songs and be like, what a great voice. They're actually understanding who is behind that, and that's what I've learned from interviewing many musicians.
Again, that's a beautiful thing if you can allow people in like that.
But it's great for you in terms of work, because now people might hear your song and maybe, let's say your name's like really small or whatever, and people don't know. But now you're known enough that if someone's coming with a song, I hope that they're like, Jonita would be perfect for this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Do you find the work is like always coming in, or are you still work kind of like worried?
Coming in. It's all about like what kind of work. Even for me, like I've started having to limit the number of shows I do, for instance.
Concerts.
Yeah.
Why?
Private events, whatever it is. Like the gig opportunity could be public or private. Because like I want to shift my priority more to studio, more to like building a legacy and recording original content and having that to kind of propel my career forward, instead of just, because you can always gig after, you know what I mean? Like I feel it's more important to have a good bank of like content, and then you can go on the road with it. So you just have to have a good balance, of course. And sometimes I don't find time for that because of the gigging. The gigging requires a lot of time because of the travel. So,
but do you find that's like the fun part though?
It is fun. They're both fun though. They're both fun.
Well, because I feel like touring,
I love traveling.
You've probably gone to every place you've ever wanted to.
Not yet, but someday.
Okay, what are the places that you still haven't gone to that you're hoping somebody will book you for?
I want to go to Egypt. I don't know that I don't know if I want to be booked there. I just want to go.
Okay.
I want to go to Madrid. Like I want to go to Spain. I haven't been to Spain in general.
Yeah.
There's so many places. I wanted to go to Turkey. I went there actually for work.
See, there you go.
Yeah. And even Italy, and I mean, there's so many places within these countries that obviously I haven't even touched. But a lot of places I have been lucky enough to go, like south of France and stuff, like through work.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's like crazy to me how big Bollywood is around the world. Right?
It's insane.
Yeah. Because these places, I can't even like think of how big of an Indian population it would be over there. But clearly,
I've just heard about people going to Prague. Like I haven't been to Prague either.
Yeah.
But people are going to Prague for like, again, Indian cultural events. And stuff.
Or
like,
weddings. I know like there's a lot of artists that I see that are just not even putting out new content. They're just capitalizing on the private gigs. Do you get a lot of like weddings and whatnot, or are you doing still concerts?
I'm doing a lot of weddings.
That's cool.
Yeah, and corporates and concerts.
Have you done like celebrity weddings?
I've performed at the Ambani wedding.
That was like the biggest wedding of the century.
Which also means that like everybody performed at one of the
it
was here or there, like I'm sure.
Was it like karaoke? They just had like everybody just pushed onto the stage?
As in because the wedding involves so many different events, right?
Yeah.
Like they have like, they did a party for like the announcement of them being engaged and stuff. Yeah. Like some of them we don't even know about. Like the one I performed at, the first time I ever performed at their house. Mm-hmm. People did, like that wasn't a public thing. It was like a small close friends and family event. It was like I think they just got engaged in Goa and they had come back and then they wanted to do a little party in Bombay.
Oh, that's nice.
So I did like a little unplugged performance.
And then do you get to hang out with them, or do you just perform and leave?
Though that event definitely not. we were actually just waiting to leave because it started so late. We
Like
were
what
just
time?
sorry, we were waiting to perform. I think we were supposed to start probably around like 8 or 9, and I don't think we
Yeah.
went on till like 12 or something.
Oh yeah.
And then you're done, and then they're like, "But can you come back up and do another set?"
Yeah.
And then we're just like, "Okay."
Do you
I'm
like
kinda
freestyle
tired.
it? Do you, or like they request
Yeah.
songs or?
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
like I remember they had specific songs they wanted and stuff too. Like they
Yeah.
would come and ask.
But not yours necessarily.
No,
Okay.
not necessarily mine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of cool and good money, I would imagine. So why
I
not?
mean, gigging in general, that's where we make our money.
Mm-hmm.
Like as singers, that's our bread and butter is touring and stuff.
There you
yeah.
go.
But like I said though, if you're gonna spend all your time gigging,
Mm-hmm.
then like once the song that you're gigging, or sorry, the song that had made you popular, once that like kind of fizzles out, then what? Then you're gonna just get less and less gigs. Like
Yeah.
if you have more, like if you churn
Yeah.
out more content
Mm-hmm.
and you constantly have something that's keeping you relevant, that's
Mhm.
best. So balance is best.
So in terms of staying relevant,
Yeah.
that's interesting because Bollywood is so massive. There's so many people in there, like so many.
Yeah.
And every time I like turn on the movie listings, there's always movies that I've never even heard of with people I've never heard of. I'm like, wow, like I can't believe
It's crazy.
so much is made out there. So do you find as a singer, are you able to now kind of be in the lead pack for gigs and songs, or are you still competing?
I think there's like a lot of work happening. So I felt that I was like I'm always competing. Let's be real, but I don't feel like I'm like worried, touch wood, as such. It's not like I'm like literally struggling
Good.
to get work or to
Yeah.
get shows. And I think a big part of that again is what it seems like to us sitting in Canada and watching is so different from what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a good example of this because before I moved to India, so I, like everyone here, like I used to watch like Indian shows with my parents or whatever would be on. Like I'd watch reality shows, I'd watch Indian Idol, and I'd be like, wow, like all these singers are incredible and top 10, and then somebody wins, and then like half a year goes by or a year goes by, and I'm just like, what happened to them?
Yeah.
Like I literally, I've not heard of this person since I watched them on the show, and on the show they got so much attention, and I thought they'd become like a superstar and
Yeah.
start singing for movies. But if you realize, it's really rare to see people coming out of reality shows and then making it big as playback singers.
Mm-hmm.
And again, with reality success and fame and exposure, there's kind of like a glass ceiling. Like you can only grow to a certain point in terms of like your price in the market or whatever it is. And like it gives you a lot of fame, but it doesn't necessarily give you like the legacy. And again, it depends on your priority. Like a lot of people are singing because they need the money, and that's totally okay.
Yeah.
And that's their only priority, right? Is to like, let's see how much money I can make right now, and like we'll invest and figure it out later. And if that's the case, then doing these reality shows and getting exposure that way, I think it works out really, really great. My priorities are more the legacy side of things. You know what I mean? So for me, gigging is going to come regardless if you have that legacy, if you have that content. So again, sorry, going back to what I was saying is I'd see from here, like I feel like there's these people who are so talented and they've come out of these shows and they're doing nothing. But actually they're doing so much and we just don't know about it.
Yeah.
As soon as I went to Bombay, I was like, oh my God, like that singer is like literally on the road constantly, 15 shows a month. That's one show every day, every other day. And they're minting money and they're like happy, and that's amazing. And it's just like there's so much work out there that's happening that we just don't necessarily know about. And then there's this perception that builds where it's like you're only as good as your latest film or your latest film song, right? Because people on the outside are not necessarily aware that you're actually fine and you're like gigging and you're making money, they have this perception that you're not doing well.
Yeah. I get that.
So it's really interesting that like what you think might be happening is like so different from what is. Yeah.
But speaking of reality shows, do you ever wonder, like, if you could go back in time, like you got discovered off of YouTube, but like you're mentioning, so many people do go for the reality shows, like even the ones in Canada. So do you think if, let's say, you hadn't got discovered, would you have gone for a singing competition?
I think I did consider it. I remember,
Which one did you consider?
I think Idol.
Canadian Idol or Indian Idol?
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, you want some juicy goss? I auditioned for Canadian Idol.
You did?
Yeah.
And you didn't get selected?
No.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
Like, hold on. Tell me this story, because I'm shocked, and I hope the producers are like kicking themselves, being like, I cannot believe.
They don't know who I am still. It's fine. But it's funny because I remember when initially, again, this is going to sound really cocky. I'm not. Okay, anyways, I would Google myself to see like what people see when they Google me, right? And when you type in Jonita Gandhi, I don't know if that's still the case, but there was a time when you type in Jonita Gandhi and like automatically it would suggest Idol or like Indian Idol.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know why. I think
there
there was
people
like
just assumed you were on it.
People assumed that I had come from Indian Idol when really I had come from my YouTube videos or whatever. So I think I was 16. I think I was like the youngest age that you're allowed to audition with.
Okay.
And I auditioned for a musical that year as well, Bombay Dreams. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
It was the year of broken dreams.
It was the year of broken dreams.
16
for
was not a good year for you.
Yeah, no. I auditioned, and so a lot of people don't know this, but behind the scenes, before the first audition that they show on TV, there's like 3 rounds. Yeah. That's the third round, right? So the first round is like a yellow ticket or something. The second round is a blue ticket. And then the third round is the actual first round that they show on TV. And the way that they determine who gets it through to that round is generally, from what I experienced, people who they think are promising contestants and people who they think would be great for TV.
Makes sense.
Right? So that's why a producer would generally be judging the first 2 rounds. So I'd like to think that I made it past those first 2 rounds, and I'd like to think it's because of my talent. Okay. Yeah. I get to the TV round or whatever, and I meet the judges, and I think I sang like Lauryn Hill, or I sang something else, I don't know. And then they can see your profile, like your application, and I would have written like on it that I sing Indian music and stuff, right? So then they made me sing something in Hindi. I sang something in Hindi, and then they were like, "So why are you here? Like, you sound really great in Hindi as well?" And I was like, "Okay, thanks." And they were like, "But why aren't you pursuing like Indian music? Why are you here on this show? Like, what's your identity as a singer?" And like, I didn't understand the question. Like, to be even now, that's a hard question for me to answer, to be honest. So I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I'm here like everybody else. I want to be Canadian Idol. Like, come on, right?" And then like, regardless of what my identity is as a singer, but what they do on those shows is they try to represent different genres also. So you'll notice a lot of the times in like the top 10, there'll be like the country singer, or there'll be like, you know, the R&B and the soul, and they try to like. But
they don't have Indian ever in a lot of those. No. The only one I can think of is the dancing ones, where maybe like a Bollywood team will make it, but not singing, and that kind of sucks.
That's kind of like a language barrier thing. Like, I kind of get it, right? Like, if you sing in Hindi, then you're not gonna be able to connect to the audience as well as you would when you sing an English song.
But you could be an Indian singer and sing in English. So why are they asking you for your identity when you're like, but I'm gonna sing in English anyway? So
right. Yeah. Like, I'm singing a Lauryn Hill or Christina or whatever song I was singing at the time. So then they're like, "No, your pitching is great and you sing well, but I feel like what kind of genre do you connect with most?" I'm like, "I don't know. I really like singing R&B." They're like, "Okay, sing something like R&B." I'm like, "Okay, I'll sing like a soul. Like, I'll sing." That's probably when I would have sang Lauryn Hill. And then I sang, and then they were like, "Yeah, I don't know if like you know who you are as a singer yet. Maybe you should come back when you figure out your space, like vocally." And I'm like, I'm so confused.
That's so confusing,
like, yeah, it was a really confusing experience.
Because everybody knows that even when they launch you, they package you as how they think is going to make you most commercial. Right? So it doesn't matter like what you
As I was leaving, I see people in line, and you know how they do like the line interviews? They have like Ryan or whoever. Ryan Seacrest is American
It's probably
Idol.
Who was the...
I forget the Canadian.
Was it Marooney?
Oh gosh,
it doesn't matter. They rejected you anyways. Yeah,
screw them. I'm kidding. So he'd like go down like the line and like talk to people, and there were people who'd be like dressed in like a kurta, like people who are like overtly Indian, right? And like
they've got the puja thali there, you know. They're like giving everyone like, you know, blessings.
See the stereotypical.
No, you
Indian
get right in,
right? Yeah, and like they were making them do like bhangra and stuff.
What does that got to do with singing?
Just for like so you also dance, so like why don't you show us your moves? And he's wearing like a full kurta and he's doing like
meanwhile you're walking by
and I'm walking out of the interview being like, "Good luck, you know what, you're gonna nail it, you're probably gonna make it to the top 10.
Imagine they did.
I don't know, they probably did, I don't even know.
Yeah, but where are they now? So okay, so that was the heartbreak.
like,
Were you
that's the
actually really
thing.
upset about that? Getting rejected from Canadian
I
Idol?
was. But I think I wasn't so upset because I was like young. So I was like, you know what? Like I literally can come back every year for the next 10 years because like I think you can go from 16 to 26 or something.
Yeah.
So, but like it was just frustrating because I wasn't like satisfied. Like I didn't have closure on that. It wasn't like you suck. Okay, bye. Like, you know, that would have been different. Also, in a way that was good though. It wasn't that I sucked. You know, I was just confused.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to feel.
Is that why you then end up focusing on YouTube because of that, or were you ready focusing on YouTube?
No, I wasn't focusing on YouTube till much later.
Okay.
I would like to think that a lot of the things I've done in my life were like strategic decisions.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
Because they always say when one door closes, another door opens. So it's like you could have been like, because I got rejected there, I was like, screw you. I'm going to find my own platform where no one can tell me what my identity is. I can just put out my own content and voila, YouTube. And then you got discovered and then you wrote a strongly worded email to whoever were the judges and being like, hey, remember me? I'm the girl you rejected because she didn't know who she was. Do you know who you are? I should just write your email right now.
You should just write a book.
I just feel like, you know, think of how many people they must have rejected that actually legit were talented just because they were like, because it's about that first impression, right? Like, you could be amazing, but let's say you were nervous and you needed more time or something happened that was beyond your control and then you just get rejected like that. Like, that's why I know
that's really
it's a great
the way
platform,
it is.
but it's still, I feel like, tough for somebody to put themselves out there. Like Neeti Mohan told me how she almost didn't go. And so she finally went the first day, and because it took her forever to get there, they closed the auditions.
Oh, wow.
And so she was like, that's done. But then they, by some fluke, extended it to another day, and she was able to get through. So it's always like crazy how like they make you struggle. You have to wait for hours, but then it can pay off,
and that's
right?
another thing. Like getting to that point where I got rejected was a long process. It wasn't like it was all day. Wasn't the first audition. That wasn't even the first day.
Oh,
I had to come back on a separate day for that.
Yeah. So there you go.
The first 2 rounds were on the same day.
Yeah.
But then this was on a separate day. So yeah.
So then at that time, when did you actually think I could actually become a singer full time? Because you actually went to school, you went to university, and I think I read something about health sciences, which I was like, I don't know what that means. Do you need to explain that to me? What were you going to do with that degree?
So basically, I'll tell you a little secret about me. I like to defer decision making for as long as possible.
Okay.
It's one of my character flaws. I decided that I'm going to go to Western University because they have the Richard Ivey School of Business, and that they had a program where you could do 2 different degrees at the same time.
Okay.
It's a 5-year program in which you get 2 undergrads. So for the first 2 years, you do your non-business courses. 3rd and 4th year, you do your HBA stuff, like business only. And then 5th year, you mix it up. And then you do whatever's left over, basically. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to like go the business route or if I wanted to do like medicine.
Oh, wow.
I know they're like so different.
Dr. Jonita.
What if, right?
Dr. Gandhi.
Also, all my friends were like going the med route. And I was like, oh, I should probably do that too.
Which is funny because you come from a family, I feel like, of creative souls. And then, like, I feel like your circle here is also very creative.
Okay, so I don't really come from a like, my dad, yes, he's a creative person. He's
your brother.
A musical person. My brother is as well.
Secretly your mom as well, I'm sure.
My mom is, like, no offense, mom, but she's not the most talented person.
Maybe in the shower.
Yeah, but she's like our rock, right? We needed somebody
she's
who
your
wouldn't
manager.
be on stage. Yeah, she has to be behind the scenes. Anyway, but before my dad, like nobody in my family as such has ever been in music. Like I'm the first one I think in my family to take it on full time.
Yeah.
Like my dad's an engineer.
Yeah.
My brother's an engineer. They both like, did the whole business. So my dad had a business, like an electronics business. My brother works a full-time job as an engineer, and it's always a side thing, right? The music.
But only from starting your dad's generation, never before,
never
even
before.
as a hobby.
So it's not like I come from a lineage of
of
music
okay.
or anything, but definitely like my dad and my brother. I was thinking medicine would be the secure choice,
Okay.
And I like science, so I was like, this is a good thing to do.
But what did you do with health science? What were you thinking you were gonna do? Like nutritionist or?
So some people do that. Some people go into like physio, like the different streams.
Oh.
Like any healthcare professional can come out of, because it's an undergrad, right? Anyways, and all of those things you'd probably have to do further studies, right? So I wrote my MCAT
Oh, wow. So
Yeah,
you were
and
like serious.
I was kind of serious. It was hard too. I remember writing my MCAT was one of the most stressful things I've done.
I can imagine.
Oh my goodness. I'm just sorry. I'm like getting overwhelmed thinking about how stressed I was
Yeah.
during those days of studying and like.
What? Like, did you even dabble a little bit in that field?
I did, to the extent of doing an internship, if that counts.
Okay.
In my last year, I did, a 4-month internship at CIBC World Markets. Brap.
There we
Worked
go.
at the TD
So
Tower
corporate.
downtown.
Yeah. You were the downtown girl.
I was a corporate banker.
Doing the commute, having your
I
downtown
was,
lunches.
Yeah, GO train.
I actually read somewhere that you got your big break. I know with Sonu Nigam, but I don't know of this story, like how it works, because I've heard different versions. So I want to know the truth here. So with Sonu Nigam, I thought he like just saw you on YouTube and like, but I heard there was a contest that you won, but you were late for the contest. So you actually weren't even supposed to be in it because someone dropped out. And that, like, I was like, come on, Jonita, like you didn't even apply on time. So is that the real story?
This kind of sounds similar to the Neeti story now, doesn't it?
Well,
yeah.
Very lucky. Okay, so tell us then the real story then. So you hear about this contest.
So I think, do you know who Vikas Khanna is?
I feel like I do
You
that
do
name.
know, you know him. He's a phenomenal singer and he lives in Toronto and he like performs off
Oh,
and on.
yes,
He used to
okay.
perform more so now, more so before than now. I think, if I'm not wrong, he's the one who told me about this contest. He was a huge like Sonu Nigam follower. I mean, so was I. So am I. And I think I had a show with him and he mentioned this contest and he's like, oh, you saw that contest? I was like, what contest? And he was like, oh, like go on Sonu Nigam's Facebook page and enter. Like there was he had heard about it and I think maybe he was telling me about it. And so I looked it up. It was basically Michael Jackson had just passed away.
Okay.
And Sonu Nigam wanted to do a little tribute and he wanted to make it like a from the fans kind of thing with him. So he set out this contest saying like, can you guys send in your demos and we're going to pick winners to be part of this tribute that he kind of curated and he was part of as well. He sang. I literally missed the deadline by like a day. So the day I found out, it was like the last day. And then that night or the next day I recorded my demo and I sent it. And I was like, guys, please consider my submission, even though it's late. And even if you don't consider it, if there's any way you can get him to hear this, that'd be great. Like, I was just like, oh my God, fangirl. Like, if Sonu Nigam even like hears my name or like knows that there's a person in the world named Jonita, I'll be happy. Like, even if he doesn't even hear my voice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was such a big fangirl. And then I hear back from them a couple of days later saying like, we had a dropout. Actually, I think it was like they had already announced the winners.
Oh.
The day that I submitted.
Yeah.
That's why I knew it was over.
That's ballsy for you
but
to
I still
send
submitted it.
Yeah.
I was like, I think that's why I said, even if it's too late, like, can you just have him hear this? And then one of the winners dropped out. And so then they got me on board.
Amazing.
Yeah. So there's 6 of us. We sang parts of this tribute and he sang like the opening and stuff. And then they like remotely, we sent our little video clips and everything and they all got it edited together and they released it.
Did you ever talk to Sonu about like, did he end up hearing it? And he was like, I know she's late, but I need her to be on this. Like,
I actually never asked him.
I would be curious to be like, did you actually even get to listen or were your people the one who kind of screened? Yeah. Because imagine that happened.
I think he did hear it. The reason I'm saying that, well, actually, I don't know if he heard my audition, but obviously he knew I was part of the final.
Why would you not ask him this question, by the way? That'd be the first question I'd ask once I was actually like in person with him.
No. Okay, so the first time I met him was the night before our first concert together.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of other things to talk about, like, what am I singing tomorrow? I didn't know anything. It was so scary. Like, it was 10 p.m. and the first concert is the next day. We're in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I'm alone. Like, in my mind, I'm alone. I don't know anybody here. Like, I've just come from Canada. I've joined the troupe. Everybody here knows each other. I don't know what I'm singing tomorrow. I have to do an opening act plus potentially some duets with him.
Okay, you're a little bit busy. Yeah. Okay.
And there was no teleprompter. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, what am I singing?
Okay, why did they not prepare you?
So Bollywood is super last minute about everything.
No.
Surprise.
You're like, I fit right in.
I know, right? Like, no wonder. But that's actually trained me to be like so open-minded in life and so ready for anything at any time.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, like, when you do live anything can go wrong or things change. Or even, like, I've seen you in concert and people will yell out at you to sing a song. I also really like when you mix things with Western songs.
Mashups, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Thanks,
I like to
girl.
pretend you're
It's
just
a lot
doing it
of
on the
fun.
fly, but I know you've rehearsed. But
Yeah,
like to me
we
that's
have.
cool because I'm like, my biggest pet peeve is I feel like I know so many talented Indian singers that are born and raised here, have perfect English, and I'm like, why are they not on mainstream radio? Why do we have
Yeah. I'm gonna change
Despacito
that.
where nobody knows the songs, but just because Justin Bieber went on it, no offense to Justin Bieber, love him, but he does all these guest appearances and the song is like the hot song in the summer. And why can't someone like you have a hot song in the summer and have it on the radio and have it a little bit Hindi and have it in English?
That would be amazing, and I hope that the next interview we do, like, we're talking about how I just did that.
Is that actually something that can happen? Like, do you find that there is interest from mainstream record labels or radio stations in terms of
I don't know.
indie
I mean, I'm
music?
trying to figure it out myself, to be honest. Of course, I've always, like, my golden standard, I think, at the same time as it being, like, Sonu Nigam and Shreya Ghoshal and Lata Ji and all,
Mm-hmm.
it was also, like, Beyonce and Christina. Like, that was really kind of, like, the be-all, end-all for me. Like, I felt that's what I want to do. Like, or not even that. Like, you know when we used to watch Lizzie McGuire?
Yeah.
You know, those shows?
Well, that was a
Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be her. Like, I wanted to be that person who's on TV singing and dancing and acting and just being themselves. And,
Yeah.
like, if you can do it all, then do it all. You know what I mean? And I always felt like I could. I mean, not always. There was a time when I really didn't think I was meant for the camera. So I thought playback is for me because it's behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And then things started changing slowly, thankfully. So I used to aspire to do English music as well. And then I kind of like, when you go to India, I got caught up obviously, but I'm very grateful because that's the audience that's accepted me, right? Like that's where I've been able to get where I am.
Mhm.
Like I wouldn't have the fame or the success that I have so far if it wasn't for like the Indian demographic and Indian audiences. But now, like, I am trying to be more mindful of like, wait, but I've always wanted to do this. So like, I think now I can start devoting some time to that. And I am
nice.
doing that now. Yeah.
Because you said it's been 6 years you've been in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like now you've made it?
No,
No? And why is that? How do you know you've made it?
I don't think I'll ever feel like I've made it though.
Yeah?
That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Well, with that just comes a place of knowing that
It's a
you can call
mindset.
the shots, that you can do now the projects you're passionate about as opposed
That
to...
I feel like I am there.
Okay.
That I do feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing with me is like my goals keep changing. Definitely there are goals. When I first came to India, what they were and what they are now are different.
Okay.
And
How so?
How so? So when I first came to India, first of all, I wasn't aware of what the possibilities are, what my grasp is gonna be, whether people will accept me or not. Like, I was insecure about the fact that I'm this Canadian chick with like this accent when I speak English. Will they even take me seriously when I sing? A lot of people were hesitant to book me for things because they would hear me speak and they just assume that I would have an accent when I sing in Hindi.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the exact same thing worked in my favor also. Like some people were just like so like mesmerized by that, right? And be like, oh wow, when you speak, you sound like a different person, and then when you sing, you sound like a different person. So I just it took me a while to like learn the ropes and see how I'm perceived by people in the industry. And my goal was always, again, like this wasn't like something I set out and put on paper as this is my goal, but I think subconsciously what I always strived for was to gain the respect of my peers and to have it so that if anybody works with me, they leave that experience having good things to say. I think all of us have that, no matter what our industry. But then there are some people actually who are literally just like, I want fame.
But they're then short term.
Some of them might be like people who weren't really like set out on becoming famous. It's just something they did worked, and it was like luck.
It went viral, yeah.
It went viral. So I don't know if that's the same thing.
But you're at that like exciting stage where you've paid your dues. People are like knowing who you are. You're getting great opportunities. But then I know there's so much ahead of you that I'm really excited to see.
There's so much I haven't even like tapped into yet.
So I'm like, I just need you to be at a point where you're like, now I get to call the shots.
Yeah.
And then you get to like,
although I've not made it in the other sense, I've made it in the sense that I'm comfortable enough to like say no to work to prioritize what I want to do. Even if
that must be hard though.
It is hard. And it is because a lot of the times what I want to devote my attention to, it'll come at a supreme opportunity cost, right? Like the things I'm turning down, it's hard to do that because what you're putting your time into otherwise is for like a later reward, right?
Yeah.
It's not for right now, no instant gratification. Whereas a lot of these opportunities I'm missing out on are like instant paydays or instant gratification. Like otherwise,
It's hard to turn down money. I get it. Speaking of money, 6 years now, pretty much in the business. Has there been a time when you feel like you made a mistake?
So like I said, a lot of the things I did before were not really strategy driven. They were just kind of like happy coincidences, like my YouTube career or whatever you want to call it. I guess one of my regrets is not making more of that, because there was a time when I was doing YouTube covers so often, and then I completely kind of stopped for a while because that was my transition from YouTube star to Bollywood playback singer, right? And so other things started taking up my time, but it's hard for us to recognize the future of, or like to recognize the result of all those efforts in the future. Like you can't tell like how big YouTube would be, or you can't tell like how strong your YouTube presence would be versus your, like, you would just assume that, okay, if I'm getting the opportunity to like make videos in my basement or go on and like tour with Sonu Nigam, obviously that's the better choice, which it was. But what I'm saying is it would have been nice to keep up the YouTube thing, because I'm realizing now, like, there's so many singers who've already made it and who are like established Bollywood singers or comedians or actors or whatever, and now they're realizing the importance of things like YouTube, and now they're going back and being like, okay, I'm gonna go start my YouTube channel because it's so important. That's like the only place you have full control, and I didn't recognize that before. For me, again, like, it was just like an outlet. It was just like, oh, like, I'm just gonna make a little video and post it on YouTube and sing some song, and people are gonna be like, wow, or whatever.
I feel like YouTube is so underrated, though. I feel like it really is a great platform for people to have full control, and there's a lot of eyes that do look at you on YouTube, so it can be a great way to reach your fans.
Yeah, and you can be your own boss, right? Like, you can produce a whole show, like a whole series rather, and like launch it on your YouTube channel. Like, there's nobody to stop you from doing that, and that's
like
so
this show.
Like this show.
Yeah,
so no one stop us. So it's crazy. It's amazing. And because there's no barriers, and because again, if you're somewhat established and you have like even like a small audience to propel it, that's a huge asset. And I didn't recognize the power of that until much later.
But I'm glad you did. So that's not a bad though mistake.
Yeah, I just feel like I could have had like a stronger. Another thing is like all the YouTube, like, this is all the business side of things that I never thought about, that I now start thinking about now, because I was very innocent.
Of course,
I was very like again, like, I just want to sing well. I just want people to think I sing well. I don't care if people think I look good even. Like, even my shows in Toronto, oh my God, I did not make an effort. And like, people used to have to tell me like, can you dress up a little bit? Like, or there was a phase, you know, like, that I had to get over, where I was just like, okay, fine, I guess, like, families, especially if it's like a private event, they get offended if like all their guests are decked out because this is a special occasion for them,
and you're
like,
in jeans,
and like, or whatever, like, or you just come like whatever, you don't look ready or whatever, right? Or not even ready, it just like, it doesn't look like
you're in a tracksuit.
If you didn't make an effort, then that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
it's a problem. Yeah, anyway, so those kind of things, like, even in the beginning of my career, like, one of my really good friends now, who I met on the Sonu Nigam tour, she was the visuals engineer. She used to tell me like, oh, you should like get a manicure, you should like take care of your nails, you should like, and I was just like, oh,
I hate that stuff too,
who cares? And now look at me.
Oh, look at you. Wow. Okay,
I've started to learn these things.
I'm gonna become like you. Are those real?
Great. No.
Okay.
Wow. Can we just acknowledge that she was talking about my nails?
Yes. Yeah, your nails. Are they? So those were some of the mistakes that obviously you learned from.
Yeah, I think I was just really naive. Another thing was PR. Like, what is PR? Once I signed to an agency, they pushed me really hard to get PR, and I was like, no.
Why doesn't the agency do the PR? You have to have two separate
This
things?
was like my agency. So PR is a whole other vehicle in the like, your manager who does like your show bookings and everything, they don't do PR. PR is like a separate part of the process. Of course, they help you with things that are like small, but like, if you have a PR agency, like, if you employ PR, it's always better because they're only focusing on getting your name out there. And I just didn't find that to be something that like necessary. I just thought it was like really cocky to have PR. Like, I don't want to pay somebody,
I get it,
to like promote me. That's weird. Even now, as I say, it is kind of weird.
But it's a reality.
But you have to do it.
Yeah.
And it's not even like, and this is something I won't say who,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody before I moved. Oh my God, I digress. Like, anyways. Wait, is that the word? I always mix this up. That's the word. I'm losing my English skills.
Okay, so PR.
No, wait. So somebody told me before I went to India and tried to make it as a singer there. Yes, you're talented. Like, this is somebody from the industry. Yes, you're talented, but it's not about how talented you are. It's about other people and what they're willing to do that you might not be willing to do.
Damn, that's a heavy sentence.
That's a heavy sentence, right? And that, I've actually never told this story publicly.
Yeah.
But that was a lot because, like, it meant it could have meant many different things.
My mind's going in different places because of that
right?
sentence.
And so did mine, clearly. And I did think he meant that in a way as well. I heard horror stories from other people who from North America who'd go to India and then, like, have, like, really awkward encounters, right? So there's that side of it, but then there's also this side of it, like the whole PR side of it, where it's just like, if you're not comfortable with certain things, and even if you're amazing and you're better than the next person, if they're putting themselves out there, whatever that means, more, they might end up booking more work than you, and you might end up losing out on a lot of opportunities and sitting at home and not getting work, basically. And that's a scary thing to go into.
But it makes sense. If people don't know what you can offer, then what can you do?
Right. And that, again, so when he said that, like, it stuck with me, and I feel like that applies, even though he might have been talking about something else, that applies to what I'm talking about right now. If you are really talented, if you're not putting it out there or getting it seen by people in the clutter that is today, like, if you go online, it's overload. It's information overload. It's content overload. How are you going to stick out? Like, how is somebody going to even, like, get the chance to, like, fall upon your video unless you have some sort of marketing behind it, right?
Totally agree.
This sounds so logical. This is, like, common sense, but I didn't get this. Like,
I get that, though, because it's only in the entertainment world that, I mean, I'm coming from media. I'm constantly getting pitched by a publicist to be like, can you, like, get my client on your show, right? Because we're often, if a person off the street was like, hey, I'm really talented, can you feature me? We'd be like, but you don't have representation. Right? It's about image too, to be like, oh, like, she's credible because she has somebody employed who's, like, vouching for her and they've got connections. So so obviously now you have a publicist.
I mean, I guess that's the equivalent. They don't call it publicist there.
What do they call them?
Like a PR agency.
Oh, okay.
Same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Because I know you have to go catch your flight, so I'm gonna try to wind up so we can get to the juicy stuff, like your love life.
There's nothing juicy about that.
I don't believe that, because I'm like, you're Canadian, you're bubbly, you're cute, like,
I bro zone people faster than you can snap your fingers.
No, I feel like as soon
Ask
as you go
any
there,
of my guy friends, and they will tell you.
Every guy, because I remember, you can't BS me, because I've been to India, especially Mumbai. They love foreign girls, so you get so much attention. And
I'm not foreign anymore, by the way.
Well, I mean, as soon as they hear you're still, they can tell from your accent that you're foreign. So I feel like a lot of these guys would be like, wow, like.
I think another way I can say I've made it is that now that, I'm just kidding, but now that, like, I'm somewhat known, like, at least within the industry, some people, like, know who I am. People are going to think twice before they, like, hit on me. Do you know what I mean? Because, again, hitting on is a very, like risky thing.
So you're in the industry. Why is it that, is it just people just seem like to think that they can't be in a relationship? Is it, like, frowned upon, or is this just people just really paranoid?
I think there might be people who just feel that's not a part of their life they want to talk about. I don't know, I guess. Another thing, it might affect their work. Like, I don't think that's the case now, but especially with actors and stuff in the past, people perceive being single as part of your appeal, and your appeal is relevant to your work, like, and your career, because your stardom is connected to it. Do you know what I mean? And then I guess some of it is just, again, the whole, like, I just don't want people to know me that well. I have a life that I want to keep separate from my work, you know? And, like, interviews and stuff, that's work, if you think about it. Only recently are people,
but
like,
not with me.
No, not with us, because clearly.
Again,
like, the whole YouTube culture, the whole vlogging culture, all of this is still relatively new, I'd say, where people are really displaying their lives to people. Like, I've again become more comfortable about being myself, like I was saying earlier, much later, recently, really, the kind of jokes or like swearing or like having a glass of wine. These are things that I would never be, or certain pictures that show more skin than normal, like all that kind of stuff. Like I was really, really careful about it. I'm like, but this is part of me. Like it took me a while to kind of like allow people into that side, which is a more personal side.
So we're slowly getting to see you, but there'll always be balance.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever feels right, you know, like you just have to go with that sometimes. It didn't feel right before. It didn't, and now I feel like I'm comfortable. I am comfortable with it, with people knowing this about me, because maybe before, again, I thought that people would judge me and it would affect my work, and now I feel like people already know that like this is what I am as a singer. There's no secret there. This is not going to precede me now. My voice and my work precedes me already, right? And I think that's a really big part of it.
Okay, all I ask is when you do meet someone that, and when I meet someone, we double date.
Oh,
I would love to do that.
Okay, but I can still lie to you on your show about it. Like
as long as in real life I know, and you were like, hey, don't mention anything. I will not mention, okay? I got you. We got it. Really quickly then, before we wrap up, I'm really hoping that there's going to be people that watch these interviews and either like at least enjoy your journey and the stories, but also feel inspired. So for somebody that's watching that has a passion, maybe they're not sure how to pursue it, what's your advice for how do you go after it? How do you make it?
Oh my God, that's a really hard question to answer because like I said, I haven't followed a certain set of instructions or anything. And I think that's actually a very important thing. Advice. Yeah, it's a really important thing to recognize is that everyone's journey is different. It's impossible to see what someone else is doing and be like, I want to do that and then do it and have it work out the same way. It just doesn't work out that way. I think the best way is to be open to reinventing yourself. For me, like one of the things that we talked about that I really struggled with is being open and getting comfortable with ideas that initially to me were like no's, like flat out no's. So I think if you're open to it and understand the purpose behind it, you might realize that it's like necessary for you and it might really change your life. It might actually give you opportunities that you never thought you'd ever have. Yeah. So I guess the best thing is be open-minded, try new things, and be open to reinventing yourself in order to propel your passion.
Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you so much for chatting.
Hi guys, I hope you guys enjoyed our video, and if you did, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos.
Careless words trying to drive a wedge between us. Lonely mornings, secret codes. I just gave up keeping the score. Slanderer, liars, nothing can stop us, baby. This is our time. Can either